What's up, YouTube? Magicide here. Welcome back to our little Geek Fest. It's pretty late night right now. I figured I was gonna maybe record a couple of videos here in Civ 5. I know what I said before with the 4X gaming, kind of being burnt out on that, but it's late. I want to record. I want to play some games. I want to play some strategy games. And this is kind of like my go-to chill game, I guess, if you will. So let's get into it. First of all, let's bring the volume down just a slight bit more. That sounds good. Okay, so we're gonna do a single player game, and we're gonna set up the game. We're gonna be England because I have all the achievements except for 2, and unfortunately one of the achievements is the one for England where you have to sink a bunch of ships with the ships of the line, and the other one that I need is the temples one, where you have to build like 1,000 temples over all of your playthroughs. So let's go through the advanced setup here. I'm actually going to play on Emperor, and I have to state right here and then that Emperor is my like default setting, and it's been a while since I played. The last time I played on King because, you know, I hadn't touched the game in months. But we're going to do it on Emperor. The rest of these options here are usually my my standard options here. We've got resources on sparse, the sea level on high. We're going to do rainfall on random. The rest of these I want them on random, and we're going to play on epic, of course. We're going to deselect the time because the time victory type just is terrible. The rest of these are pretty self-explanatory. I like to save policies when I have the option to, and the promotion saving, even though, you know, I'd say about 99% of the time I actually take the promotion. We're going to disable the start bias and the random new seed. The start bias here, I find that to be, I don't know, I don't want to say it's like cheating, but it's like some civilizations have a predilection towards certain types of tiles, and I don't really like that. I really feel like the game is a little bit better when you play with that off, because otherwise, you know, some of these civilizations, like the Incan civilization, for example, they get massive bonuses when they're in hills, and I think that it'd be just better to have that off and give them a little bit more of a random start like I would get. Same thing with the random personalities and the raging barbarians. You know, let's keep things interesting. How about that? So what we're gonna do, I think we're gonna stick with archipelago here because I really want to get this achievement where we have to sink a bunch of ships with the ships of the line. Let's do a small map. How about that? And then I really like unorthodox settings, you know, including the ones that I already have here, but we're going to add another 4 civilizations, so we have a total of 10, including myself, and then 12 city-states here. This looks pretty good, so let's get right into it. Start our game here.
Praises upon Her Serene Highness, Queen Elizabeth Gloriana. You lead and protect the celebrated maritime nation of England. England is an ancient land. Settled as early as 35,000 years ago, the island has seen countless waves of invaders, each in turn becoming a part of the fabric of the people.
Alright, so we have a very interesting start here. We got some crabs. We're going to be right here on this little straight kind of deal here. So we're going to be production heavy. We're obviously going to have some crabs down here. So let's go ahead and settle here. This looks like a pretty good start. Alright. Since we're doing archipelago, I'm actually going to start off with a worker. We're going to do a show queue. Let's look at our citizens here. Okay, that's fine. Let's choose our research. Okay, this is like my baseline starting moves every single time. I always beeline writing just simply so I can get the Great Library. Otherwise, the AI ends up scarfing that up. I generally try to go for a science victory. And even if I don't, I still try to focus a little bit more on science because science affects all of these technologies. And the sooner you get new techs, the sooner you can get new units, the sooner new buildings, new wonders become available to you. And not only that, but there's a little bit of an ulterior motive. We also get shrine from pottery, which will allow us to hopefully get a pantheon quick enough before everybody else does. So we're going to go for that. Grab our little warrior here, move him on up. All right. We're just going to kind of play it by ear right now. See where the game takes us. I think that's how you really play Civilization. You have like a general strategy in mind, something that's fairly ambiguous, and then as the game progresses, you may need to adjust a few things depending on your situation. Okay, so we got a goody head up there. Alright. Okay, so our guys get immediately upgraded, and we can tell by our tundra tiles up here that we're somewhere in the north. Let's just go ahead and finish exploring it. Yep, there's the ice flows up there. Come on down. So it's pretty obvious that our little island here only goes to here. This is the end point, and here too. Unfortunately, we're kind of landlocked in that aspect, but we'll roll with it. We'll see what we got here. Neighboring isles, of course, notwithstanding. Really hoping that I discover another, maybe like a whale or some more crabs or something. I think crabs can only be abutted next to land. Okay, so London has grown. That looks fine. We actually really want to focus on production. Production is key to everything you do in this game. I always try to focus on science first, production second, every single time. Even in cultural games. So let's go ahead and stand on this hill here. So it looks like we're getting hosed as far as any kind of islands we might be able to see. These first few turns are going to be a little uneventful, to say the least, because we really have nothing else to explore, and there's really nothing to look out for. So we're going to park our guy here. Just put him on alert. Oop. Alright, so we're going to switch our production focus to a shrine. And it looks like we're going to have enough turns here to do both. I think it's better in these circumstances to actually pump out that worker first, so that way you have him. If there was a city-state somewhere around here sharing this island with me, then we can go up there and raid their worker. But unfortunately, since I'm alone here, it's just going to have to do with building one. Hard building a worker in the beginning. Looks like I'm making enough money here to almost buy a tile. Almost. We'll get there. Okay, so we got 5 turns on the shrine and 6 turns on the worker. So we're still in that range to actually finish both before writing finishes. So we're going to cruise on by. Okay, we don't want that many people working food. Generally speaking, I actually try to limit my food production to some extent in favor of actual production output, just so I can build things faster. But I know that there's some strategies out there that say you need to build, if you're going tall, which means to build your city up is to the maximum capacity of population as fast as possible, that you should focus on food. But that's going to occur over time anyways. So we're going to forego that. Okay, our shrine's done. Awesome. So it looks like our worker is going to finish up at the same time that writing is going to be researched. So that way we can get ready to build that great library straight away. One more turn.
He who destroys.
All right. So we're going to go to Great Library, and this is the point where you need to make some decisions, because normally I go tradition, and depending on your start, you may want to beeline it to the hanging gardens here. But I'm almost thinking that it might be worth actually getting mining first and then doing it. If you have desert tiles, you absolutely want to beeline it to Petra every single time, because the AI will almost always beeline it to that if they have access to desert tiles themselves. So I don't even have animal husbandry yet. So our worker is kind of moot, but at least we have one now, so we don't have to worry about building one later. So we're just going to put him to sleep for the moment. Actually, I should probably station him here on this mine, or this hill here, so I can turn it into a mine once that technology finishes. So we're going to put you back to sleep. Wait a few more turns. I'm thinking after this game, even if I lose this game, like I said, I've been pretty rusty. The last time I tried playing an Emperor game, I got my ass kicked. And then I had to, like, degrade my difficulty setting back down to King just to get in the habit of playing this game again. So we'll see how this goes. But after this, maybe, I'm kind of thinking, maybe, just maybe, I'll do an Endless Legends playthrough. It's been a long time since I played that game, and I know that they have come out with a new DLC that focuses on sea tiles. And there's like a sea civilization, I believe, if I remember correctly. So I'd like to check that out at some point. So I always go tradition. Always. It's so good, even though they nerfed the lineup of these different civic bonuses that you get. It used to be lined up a little differently. You used to be able, I believe this was separate, but these two were linked, and then you could automatically go into Landed Elite and Monarchy right away after you got your first civic slot. But they changed that, of course, because it was just too powerful. Okay, so we are actually the first one to get a Pantheon. Let me actually look at, okay, we are working that tile, so we are going to want to do that mine. Decisions. At this point in the game, since we have really nothing here except for the crabs, I don't remember if actually the crabs do anything for you. Okay, so we get production from fishing boats from doing that, but God King might be better simply because there's only the 2 crabs. However, since I try to rush out some early wonders, I sometimes like to go, where is it at? There we go, Monument of the Gods, just to ensure that I want to finish the Great Library and the Hanging Gardens and Petra if I have access to it. So we, I think, are going to do that. The other thing that's really good about going Monument of the Gods as your Pantheon is that if you're not focusing on faith and religion, and you don't really mind if somebody else is going to proselytize in your area, it doesn't really make a difference if they religion flip your cities. Because after the classical era, actually, let's take a look at that. Yeah, after the classical era, this pretty much is moot. It becomes obsolete. And when, other civilizations start throwing missionaries and inquisitors and whatever else, the great prophets in your area, it's not going to really make a difference. Unless, of course, you're playing in a really small map and everybody's like abutted next to one another. So it looks like this mine's going to finish up a turn before animal husbandry. Alright, so we get another worker. Right. That seems fine. As long as we have that one person, the one worker, the one population pop working this mine that's about to finish, I'm okay with.
Thou shalt not.
Alright. So somebody else has got camps. Usually when the AI gets that, they're mainly somewhere in the absolute northern or southern hemispheres where you get a lot of these tundra tiles, because I think there's a higher level of the deer that spawn. Or they happen to get lucky and get a lot of the furs. That's another one that has the camps. Alright, let's go ahead and do aristocracy right away. I'm paranoid. I just want to rush out these early wonders absolutely right away. I know we could be saving some gold if we went oligarchy, if we chose that instead. But tough shit. I want those early wonders. Great library is great because it's going to start pumping out great scientists earlier. And it gives us the free library. So it's pretty much a number of things just built into one. You get the science bonus, you get the progress towards a great scientist, and you get the free library all in one. Why wouldn't you do that? Okay, that's a typical AI pantheon right there.
The haft of the arrow.
Alright. Come on, just give me that library. Okay, Polynesia.
Aloha Pumehana.
I was looking on Civ Fanatics forums a while back, and I remember seeing a couple different threads posted about, the top tier civilizations, and Polynesia always seems to get poo-pooed on. But honestly, every time that I play them, if I play like an all-random game and I'm Polynesia, especially if it's on a water-based map like this, they're actually extremely powerful in the early game because you can automatically start colonizing islands, you can start exploring. Oh, that's right, we get a free technology sheet. So let's go drama and poetry. Seems like a pretty strong choice.
The king's might.
Alright. We're doing okay on food. We're already going to get the monument through the tradition civics tree. So let's just go ahead and do granary right away. And actually, let's take a look at the technology tree. I don't remember I had to have a quarry to do that. I think I have to have a quarry to do the stone. Right? I think I do. So let's go ahead and create another pasture here. Polynesia's great. Their Maori warriors in this game are pretty subpar. And the statues, I forget what they're called, the moai, they can be good, but it really depends on your land mass. It depends on what you have available to you. Because otherwise, you know, it's like if you have just one blob of land and there's really nothing distinct about the coastline, you can just sit there and plop those things down and get huge cultural bonuses from them because they have adjacency bonuses. But otherwise, it's their starting, I guess their unique ability that they can just automatically start sailing the seas. They don't need the technology to do so. And I find that to be a very highly underrated skill. And I think after I'm done building this, the Hanging Gardens, we're gonna start doing some sailing. I think I'm gonna try to get the Great Lighthouse. Okay, so our granary's finished. You know, honestly, I think we should probably get a. Maybe we shouldn't. Let's try for the Temple of Artemis. Hey yo, it's only late. Okay, so we're gonna save some gold because of our units stationed in our capital. Excellent. Artemis. Alright, let's build another mine. And then after that, I think our workers just going to be chilling for a while. Well, actually, I'll probably build another mine up here. I want to be careful with my land choices here, simply because when I start getting the great scientists here, it'd be pretty strong if I actually place them on one of these hills. One of these unworked hills, anyways. Unmodified hills, I should say. Alright. See, here's the problem, is that we just got another population, another pop here. And the temple just got a huge boost in production because of it. But the AI likes to pump those out pretty quickly. And because nobody else has gotten Stonehenge yet, something is making me believe that maybe we're playing with civilizations that are just not focusing on wonders. I might actually wait. Yeah, sure, there. Kamehameha. So when we get this technology, now the question becomes, do we continue on for these 8 turns to get the temple, or do we just scrap that idea and automatically go for the Hanging Gardens? It's kind of a tough choice here. We're really not hurting on food, but we will be eventually. Although we do have 3 different cows here, the cattle. And then, of course, we've got the crabs down here. I think we're going to stick with it, and then we're going to try our best to actually get that Hanging Gardens. The problem is it's not going to be that much time to actually research optics here and get the Great Lighthouse. So we're just going to have to play it by ear, I guess. I'm sure I'll probably get beaten to the punch with the temple. If not, I'll be pretty surprised. Normally the AI usually gets the Stonehenge and the temple right away. And then if we've got a warlike civilization that goes honor, they'll end up getting the statue of Zeus. Okay, so we got some filthy barbarians over here. Great fodder for our ships when we were able to actually start building them. Alright, put you on fortify. So I know this looks a little boring on camera when you're watching these videos, but I want to say, like, up until like the medieval period is my favorite part of the game. You get like that the exploration, and not only that, but all of these like little tile yields, they actually mean something. Like later in the game, like this one little hammer here, this one little bit of production, it doesn't really mean dick. I mean, it can if you're really on the border of actually finishing something before another civilization's that's competing for that, let's say, that same wonder. But early in the game, this one apple or this one hammer here means a lot. And there's something about that that actually really makes me enjoy the early game. And not only that, but there's just that sense of exploration, because you don't know what the land masses are like. You don't know what the tile yields are like.
He who commands the sea.
You don't know who the other civilizations are. It's just overall just wholly more exquisite for myself. So let's go ahead and do this other mine. I don't think we're hurting on food. No, we're good on food. All right. So it looks like we are going to get the temple.
It's not so much
Fandiddly-tastic. So we got 22 turns for the Hanging Gardens. So my dilemma here is, in 8 turns, do I just try to pump out that Great Lighthouse? It seems like the AI that I'm playing with right now, the other civs, are just not focusing on wonders. So there's probably no Korea in this game. Got another pantheon that's been founded from pastures. You know, that actually would have been a decent choice for myself, because I've got 3 different pastures here. This game would be a hell of a lot different if we actually had some neighboring civs. But since we don't, we're pretty sequestered away. We're pretty safe. Nobody knows that we exist except for the Polynesians, which is okay with me. Alright, so we just finished optics. I think we're going to try to rush that Great Lighthouse out. It's only a few turns more than the Hanging Gardens. And since we're a maritime nation, and I really want to focus on pumping out those ships of the line, I think we should probably focus on that. As far as our next technology goes, I think, since we have the stone, well, but then we have the National College. I think we should probably do masonry first, and then start getting our science output buffed up a little bit. Alright, let's take a look here. We've got plenty of food. We want this guy to go there. We want that production, absolutely. And then we're going to have you create a pasture. Ah, see, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody else rushed it because we're playing on an archipelago. That's okay. We still have the production towards the Hanging Gardens as a plan B. Does suck, though, that we don't get the actual unit. I mean, the actual wonder. But whatever. C'est la vie. So we get another civ that's most likely, I mean, obviously on one of the northern or the absolute southern hemispheres. The AI never chooses that unless, of course, they're surrounded by tundra tiles. In which case, that civilization is going to be one that's going to get shat all over first. Let's see if we can get some vision here. We don't. He's got gems and a bunch of plains and some grain. So we finally get our monument. Excellent. Maybe get a little bit more culture production here in time. But first, wonders. All right. So we're now focusing on calendar. So after this guy's done with this pasture here, we're going to work on this stone tile here to make a quarry. And I believe we already have the technology to start a mausoleum of Halicarnassus. I mean, see, one of the valid strategies of this game isn't so much should I build it because I need it. It's more like should I build it because the other civilizations need it and I want to take it from them. So if I build the mausoleum here, or the mausoleum, and get the bonuses just for this one tile, it prevents the other civs from having it, especially a civ that maybe has plunked down a couple other cities by now and has a bunch of stone tiles or marble. Ah, it's
Bienvenue.
France.
Je suis Napoléon de France.
Speaking of France, I've been really craving some foie gras lately. I love it. Need to have it. Could rub that stuff all over my body, and I still would want more. Oh, some luxurious, glorious foie. Okay, so he's going to be a warmongerer. We have no interest in that, sir. You filthy warmongerer. He's going to want a embassy at some point. I'm not going to sell it to him. I'm just going to wait until he actually wants it, and then we'll trade for one. But since we know that he's going to be a troublemaker, we're going to need to start building some naval units. Absolute. Alright, get your ass down there. Make me that quarry. Alright, let's take a look at our production lines. Okay, we're good to go. Alright. So we're going to get the hanging gardens, unless somebody else hoses me. Yeah.
I think that if ever a mortal heard the word of God, it would be in a garden at the cool of the day.
I really like that quote. So now we don't really have to worry about food for a long, long time. Probably up until the modern era when we can start building, I think, hospitals and stuff. So we're good to go with that. I think, so here's the thing. Should I start building a navy? Nobody's going to attack me yet. France might come, but I don't think he will. Since nobody's grabbed Stonehenge, I'm going to actually try for it, and then we're going to try for the mausoleum. We're not making any gold here, unfortunately, so I can't build a trireme. Because I believe they're they're 300. Alright. So we're going to see if we can build this Stonehenge wonder, and if we can't, then oh well. I'm really surprised. We don't really have any zealots or any like religious fanatical types in this game, which is actually kind of a relief, because playing with some of those civs that focus on religion can be god damn nabbit. You know, as I was saying that, look at that. Hey, take off, hoser. So we're gonna do the mausoleum next. Oh, that'd be funny. Somebody else takes Stonehenge away from me, and then all of a sudden I say that, and then somebody else takes mausoleum. That'd be great. Classic civ right there. But somebody else took the statue of Zeus. If it's not France, it's somebody else. Some other warmonger. Okay, so he wants the embassy. I guess we'll do it. He's far enough away that he's not a threat, but we should still pay attention to him, because he's close enough that he can start transporting a bunch of garbage over at me. Another Pantheon, so we got some fishing boats. Japan might be in this game, because Japan usually takes that. Oh, okay, so we got Theodora.
Oh, μονοποιούν θαύμα.
Oh yeah.
Ποιον όνομα
We love you,
έδινεσαι, ο
Byzantium.
καλός ξένος?
Be nice if we had the Ottomans in this game. Then it could be like a game of EU4. Alright, let's take a look here. Hey, Theodora, you know, my family line's pretty strong.
Μέλημα.
I was born in the purple. Oh, yes.
Ναι, φίλτατος.
Fantastic. Alright. So they're actually on the other side of us here. They've got furs and some fish. What do you got down here? France. We've got some... So I'm thinking he might have taken the Pantheon for the pastures because he's got 3 of them. Although it would probably would have benefited him to actually take the one, I think that gives faith, I believe, for salt. We'll have to take a look-see once we get the units to actually go over there. So I think we're going to roll with this until the mausoleum is finished, or is not finished, as it were. And if it doesn't, we're going to start pumping out some naval units. I think I'm going to build a mine down here. Let's actually take a look at our pops. We've got plenty of food, so we want you to come down here. All right. You know, we're not making any gold. So I think after the mausoleum, I'll start focusing on the crabs down here. Okay, terracotta army. So you're gearing up against somebody. Alright, so let's do this mine here. Looks like we're getting in another pop. Okay, so where does they put... Where... Negative. Go there, it's better. Why did it not prioritize that? It's pretty baffling. So we're a little bit unhappy here until we can start pumping out some happiness buildings. Probably do a Coliseum at some point. Although usually at this point, after I get the National College, after I get finished researching philosophy, I usually beeline it for, what is it, the technology that has Notre Dame physics. Because that's a pretty important wonder just for the happiness. I mean, the faith bonuses obviously are something spectacular, but I usually go for it for the happiness.
Earth is the tomb of heroic.
All right, so I think this is where we're going to call our episode. It's been great. I hope to actually win this game. It's been a long time since I played a game straight through and seriously on a harder difficulty. And after this is done, maybe we'll continue on with the 4X tradition. I'm really hoping so because I love 4X games. Even though I said I'm really burnt out, I think I'm starting to build up a little bit more motivation to actually play, considering that, you know, I've been talking about it in my past few videos since starting to become a Let's Player here, but we'll see. But we're going to definitely finish this game out, win or lose. So I hope to see you again on episode number 2 of this series. Thank you very much, and have a good night.